Bringing in real close. Get in here. Get in here real close. I had a secret for y'all. It's Jonathan Taylor week. Let's go. Bring in the badge, bros.
What up?
Was it weird that I was like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all. I was like trying to get closer as well. Like, what is it? What's the secret here?
That was a great engagement tactic. Just a little something for the content creators out there. Get people started.
I genuinely believe it though. I genuinely believe it after doing a couple drafts last night, seeing where all the high-end ownership is consolidating and just staring that JT 33 ADP in the face all night long. I just kept clicking it. I was like, this is going to be leverage or it's going to be a swap, and I don't care which it is, but it might just be JT week. And we could talk through, whether he's probable to play, and you could talk through the ankle situation and how high ankle sprains are bullshit and could last forever and you never know and this sort of thing. But I'm just going to keep clicking it till I think otherwise. What do you guys think? What's going on, boys?
I like it, man. I like it just for the just for the swap option. I think the swap leverage gives you a really interesting play. I doubt they would ever like 50-50 him. Like I feel like for a running back, like you can't, it's hard to be like a decoy. Like you can't like half-ass playing a game as a running back, but as a wide receiver, we saw Gabe Davis do it the last 2 weeks. And then now he's healthy, but yeah, I like it, man. I'm not on it yet, but I like it. I definitely do.
I think especially with Hines, like with the concussion stuff, it just kind of gives another path to fast tracking him. Whether this is true or not. But let me hit the elephant in the room here. I'm seeing the boys rocking some new swag. Oh, just stretch it out a little bit there. Oh, the good people at Underdog reaching out, handing the boys some swag. It looks good on you lads.
Got a little hat over here too. Where is it? There it is, right there.
There you go.
Little hat and another shirt right there too. Oh yeah.
Oh man, you love to
working
see
on my
it.
point game. But
yeah. Was that Eagles shirt, huh?
Funny story. I don't know if I said it on stream, but they sent me one shirt because I won a giveaway, one of their social giveaways for submitting a hot take. They asked for my favorite team, and I told them the Steelers, and then they sent me the other Pennsylvania team, Philly colored shirt, but it was still dope too. I don't care. I love these shirts, man. I wear them every
dude, they're nice. They're real nice. Real nice.
I love it. And Numi getting a new setup there. We got some ballers in the background looking clean, buddy.
Yes, sir. We went full streamer mode. We got the freaking white lights coming from different directions. We got a new camera. We got a new mic with a new stand coming. Yeah, finally got to
Boys
put
are
up
pushing the pace. I might have to upgrade here. Boys are pushing the pace. I might have to set up the office.
No, that's awesome, man. You got what is that? The playroom right there.
Dude, this is an office / utility room / store all the kids shit because we always have kids coming.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an Aritzia bag behind me. I mean, I'm in like this is an influencer's storage room, so we're both hybrid right now.
Yeah, dude.
Love it. Mark, how'd last week go? How did your takes go? How'd your DFS stuff go?
Dude, I was on all the right game environments, all the right teams, all the right plays. I didn't get them all together. So it was like a 3x week when I was watching the rest of the OWS fam just litter the Binks channel. I was like, this is awesome, but fuck, I missed it. We were on everything, dude. We crushed it.
That's great. But that's
Gabe Davis
I mean,
was Gabe Davis was like our
just
pony, and he just comes out 98-yarder first play from scrimmage. Okay, this is gonna be a good week.
Yeah. That's such a good feeling when you nail some of those and you're just you see that shit rolling in. You're like, oh, I was all over it. But when you're all over it like that, it's going to come, right? It's like making the final table over and over again. It's like, yeah, man, I didn't get that milli, but it's coming. It's coming. I'm right there. I'm sniffing it. I'm playing good. I'm playing well.
My biggest game environment call of the week was the Chargers and Browns. And we were talking about it last week on stream. It was like, if Nick Chubb were going to or if this game were going to blow up, it's going to be because Nick Chubb rips a 50-yarder and he rips a 51-yarder in the first possession. I was like, okay, this game's going to blow up. And then it was looking so good. And then it was all the other chalky running backs hit after Chubb and Eckler. So I was like, oh yeah, I nailed this game environment. Then I was watching Jeff Wilson get there 20 something points. And then I was all over Brees. He was my highest owned running back.
Awesome.
all the cash game chalk hit.
Yeah.
Oh, Brees could have got home even harder if they give him those 2 goal line carries.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Andy,
yeah,
crunches
Carter,
him in.
yeah.
It's like-
Andy was 3 yards short of a 100 game. It's
yeah.
like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
dude. he
Kamara
is-
almost got a
he's
100 games. So like there was a lot of chalk or chalkier plays at running back that made it so like my week wasn't more profitable because like
Mhm.
Nick Chubb was down at like 8% in the contest I was playing. Like Austin Eckler was at like 12%. And then you had like Alvin Kamara get there at only like depressed price at only or at like 24%. So yeah, it was looking great to begin, and then it's kind of like watching the expected winnings trickle down the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do we do from like a macro level takeaway when you're looking at a slate like that? And let's pivot it into this slate as well. Is we see all the cash game chalk get home again for the 3rd week this year. All the value plays get home, and basically what ends up happening is we GPP Galaxy Bro brain our way away from that stuff, and then it just gets there. And is there anything to take away from this, or is this just the variance of playing these contests and we still just got to keep building for low owned environments?
It's chalk for a reason because they're good plays. Like gone are the days like 4 years ago when we could just be like, I'm not going to play the chalk because it's shit. Like the field is so much smarter now that like it's chalk for reasons. They're good plays. That said, like the good plays are not going to hit every single week. So like building consistently plus EV rosters that are leveraged away from the most chalk environment or play or whatever is going to win over time. It's just that we have seen, and I think I'm breaking it down, or I'm trying to figure out like why the case is that we're seeing chalk specifically at the running back position and then specifically away from the top end running back plays hit home. And I was digging into the numbers, and basically like I think we covered this last week or the week before, but like scoring is down right now, or at least for the first 3 weeks across the NFL. It's picked up week 4 and week 5, but like scoring is down. And when scoring is down, that's obviously less scoring opportunities for the running backs. The overall league wide, like carries inside the 5-yard line are way down. Like Joe Mixon leads the league in carries inside the 5 with 7, and he has 0 touchdowns and 1 yard on those carries. So it's like scoring is just down, and these running backs, defensive pass interference penalties in the end zone are down. So like that's going to lead to less goal line opportunities. So we have all this raw data of what is going against running back plays right now. But we have to realize that like the running backs across the NFL are just different fundamentally than they were 3 or 4 years ago. So how are running backs scoring like elite points now? It's primarily through like breaking 100 yards and multiple touchdowns. So if we like limit our exposure to like those guys that have the potential to do that and stay away from these guys who are seeing 16 to 18 carries and need like an extreme outlier to break 102, we can place ourselves like in like optimal plus EV situations by targeting running backs when the field has this like best ball hangover from off season that's carrying over into best ball this year and DFS this year, which like 0 RB wins everything. So like the touchdown variance from running back position is going to shift. And we've seen it this past week, particularly like Leonard Fournette. We had, there were like 7 running backs on the main slate that like popped 102 at minimum. So the scoring is kind of the variance with touchdowns are shifting a little bit. And that's something I think that you can leverage moving forward.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think those are very good macro level like trends and points to just bring up, because we've kind of been talking through how these slates get broken, right? Because effectively we're just trying to hit a 6-leg parlay for the nuts, and how these slates get broken is these one outlying running back performance. And that was like the first 3 or 4 weeks. And now all of a sudden you've seen these 2 running back builds start smashing. And it kind of just in general tells us that, hey, we don't actually know shit yet, right? It's like these trends and the variance of these trends is going to keep moving until we have a large enough sample size where we can actually depict a strategy associated with these games, right? Yeah. Any thoughts, boys?
I for whatever reason, it just feels like some of these game environments have just been like very predictable in certain situations. Like we've been on like other games have gotten there that kind of took away our leverage from identifying the games that we like in particular are on the show. But it really just seems like right now there are just certain teams that are just such easy targets for fantasy purposes that you just know like either the team and the defense like gets fantasy points, or the teams that they're playing just have very concentrated target trees, or just a lot of concentration in the running back position. There's just been a couple games that have just like told you what's going to happen, and so far it's played out exactly as we would have expected in those situations, which kind of leads me to think that this week is a good week to, in particular, to kind of fade some of these like insanely attractive matchups that we have on the slate.
Ooh, that's a little Nez take, a little Nez bomb dropped in there.
Just a nugget for y'all.
Just a little nugget. I like that take. I like that call. And we can dive in deeper into what those games are, which games those are, and that sort of thing in a second here. But I just want to get Numi's overarching thoughts there.
On the slate or just on that take?
Just on the well, do both for me. Give me the you got a little rebuttal there, and then we'll move into the slate.
No, I 100% agree, and just like I'll just say I agree with all of that. And for the slate, I'm lagging behind, as I literally started 30 minutes ago as I was doing all of this streaming stuff yesterday and getting all that. So we're jumping into slate just like if like with wet feet right now. So
okay, cool.
So we're going down. That. But my first thing that I did point out immediately that I had written down here was Jonathan Taylor, and it's circled twice. So my first thing I do on slates, just real quick, is I find out the injuries from last week, who they immediately rank them down, 0 projection type stuff. People aren't clicking them. So that's what I have on there immediately. And then same thing with like Ramondre and Kenneth Walker, how they're going to get steamed up. So, but yeah, I agree with all that.
Cool. Let's go slate specific for a second here. I went premature on the guys to someone take over. What am I doing out here?
Classic. Going premature, man.
Okay, relax, man. We get it. You have 4 kids. Okay, let's this is the ADP. We'll just pull up the ADP right quick here and just look in general, and why we keep bringing up this Jonathan Taylor name for nobody who's been in the streets yet is he had a 0 projection, and his ADP is now creeped up to 31.8, but this was sitting at like 35, and he was basically getting untouched. And on a macro level of this slate is we're missing 2 full games, right? This 11 game slate, we're missing the Lions, we're missing the Raiders. Someone else help me out. Yeah, the bye weeks. But just why Jonathan Taylor stands out more to us this week than perhaps he normally would is like a combination of things. It's not just the fact that his ADP is so suppressed, right? We're missing the Lions, the Texans, the Raiders, and the Titans.
Yeah.
So, darn.
Right? Yeah. It doesn't even feel like they're gone.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like in a 36 person or player draft, you're missing 5 picks there, right? So naturally, the one thing's going to happen is ownership is going to consolidate higher up, which gives us incentive to get more unique, would be my natural reaction to this. Do you guys agree with that line of thinking?
Yeah. Well, yeah, more or less. I think you're going to see like some pivots there, but there's definitely some, like the first round to me is just, it's like the first 8 picks are so set in stone to me. First 9 picks like are just so automatic. And anywhere you want to take them.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that just based on we're talking about game environments here, and everything's going to gravitate to that Mahomes Kelsey after the 4 touchdowns last night, plus in that Buffalo environment. This feels very similar to week 4, where everything consolidated around that it was right after the Miami and Ravens blow up, and then Ravens go and play Buffalo. And it's like, this is the can't miss spot. This is the first 6 picks every draft are all from that game. And now we're doing something like this. Does it feel similar like that to you, Mark?
Yeah, this slate is pretty shitty from a macro perspective in that 9 of the 11 games have a game total of 45 points and less. And then there's the 2 afternoon games that are at 51 points or greater in
3.
Buffalo.
All
KC.
3 are.
No, what?
Yeah, I think the Carolina and Rams one got up there too.
No chance. I gotta check that again.
I have that at 41.
That's at 40.5. Yeah, I was like, say what, dude? The Cardinals.
Guys, I got excited. All right,
I was like,
it's PJ Walker's season. Leave me the fuck alone. I was like, I got a little
Carolina and the Rams, like a 50 total.
Dude, you're drunk.
Yeah,
not yet.
Like, how has that not been smashed under in Vegas? If that's actually a thing.
One of the most interesting aspects of the slate is that Cardinals Seahawks game, because the Seahawks are like in the same realm as we were talking about the Lions last week, where it was like they're just scoring points, they're being efficient, and they're just bleeding points.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals are broken, like we've talked about. They suck right now. And that's unlikely to change, at least until Nuke comes back. Just based off the personnel that they have on hand right now. But there's obviously some stuff to talk about on the Seattle side, which it sounds so weird to think that like Seattle's probably going to be pushing that game instead of the Cardinals, but that's probably what it's going to be. And they have a concentrated AF offense now. They have DK Metcalf, who's probably going to see a ton of Byron Murphy. And so he's probably going to get a shadow plus treatment from Byron Murphy, who has
UW boy.
Absolutely eliminated opposing wide receiver ones this year, including Cooper Kupp. He held him to 4 for 44. Absolutely eliminated opposing wide receiver ones.
That's the game that Kupp scored the rushing touchdown. That's how he got home. Wow. Yep. Yeah. Good nugget there, Mark. I like that.
Yeah. So the wide receiver one to perform the best against the Cardinals this year was actually DJ Moore. And he put up like 7 for 70 something. And it was just like a volume play. He's shaken free on like in the first 5 yards. But Byron Murphy,
I think it was those. I think 3 of those receptions were on the last 2 drives too, when they were just like full prevent pushed back in that environment. I'm pretty sure. And he just was like a little yak monster when it didn't matter. Yeah.
So Byron Murphy plus the coverage that they're shifting towards wide receiver ones. DK is likely going to see that. So like, think about like the rest of that offense is basically just Kenneth Walker and Tyler Lockett. So that's some opportunity, I think, this week there.
One thing about the Kenneth Walker thing that I'll say is it's pretty interesting how basically Penny didn't get played any week this year. Penny, basically nobody played Penny. Maybe he was like 5 or 6% owned. We figured in the weekend that he went off, and it was primarily as a run back. And now all of a sudden, Kenneth Walker gets the job, and backfield to himself and all this sort of narrative. And he's got an ADP inside the 30, right? You know, it's just like he's like 32 or something right now, right? And it's kind of like 34 right now. Okay. And it's just like, well, why is he getting pushed so much harder than Penny was any other week this year? Right? I don't know. That's just my thought process.
The other side of that game in the backfield is actually pretty interesting too, because both James Conner and Darrell Williams left with injuries last week. So it's like, Eno has seen like majority of the snaps in the red zone snaps over the last 3 weeks, even with Conner like in and out of the lineup, which is interesting too. So
that's a huge piece of news to pay attention to for certain. Just like they do not want. I don't know if it's by design. Maybe Kyler said, "Hey, I'm done taking hits," but like Kyler just does not run a lot this year at all. So if that backfield is all Eno, like I am CC, I'm very intrigued. That is good. We should be on that. But like I don't think Benjamin is like a outstanding player, but I am on like the Benjamin is good train. So I'm waiting for this opportunity.
He was a lot of people's late round best ball darling, right? Like that, one thing I will say about, I don't know if anyone saw my John Bates take last night, but my John Bates take was like, you can't play him. because if you're drafting him, it's a mistake. If you end up with him in your lineup, it's entirely fine, but it has to happen via a swap, because if both the tight ends play and you're stuck with Bates, well, then you're just hoping for half the production volume and whatever. My same thought process here applies to Eno Benjamin. I am not going to draft Eno Benjamin until I know James Conner is out, and then I'll utilize him as a late swap off my Taylor stuff if Taylor doesn't go, or I'll mix him in late with a slightly thrust up price, I guess, but I will pay that price for certainty, because the floor of Eno Benjamin is both of the other two running backs play, and he just becomes a 35% snap guy, and all my lineups with Eno are low-key dead. That is my bear case on drafting Eno right now. Now
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that could definitely change as the week progresses and we go, yeah, Eno's in a great spot. Connor went DNP, and now we can start drafting him and whatnot. But as of right now, given their ADPs, given the situation, give me Kenneth Walker over Eno in that spot, or give me Jonathan Taylor with the late swap equity and the ceiling, and then we can go, right? I just think of that from a game theory standpoint, not from like a player specific take.
I'll concur with that.
Yep.
Okay, so
all my points, John. I will say that.
No,
Like the three things I have written down here: Jonathan Taylor, Cardinals RBs against Seattle, 26th ranked rushing D, Connor over Benjamin at first. I have three things written down here, and I just can't get one out. You know what?
You hate to see it. You just gotta dive right in there, Numi. You gotta say, "Hey, old John boy, shut the fuck up for a second. I got this one." You know,
please.
Oh man, impossible.
Yeah. Even if I do say that, well, let's see. Let's think of the outcomes here. He doesn't shut up.
That's good.
All right.
Silas bringing up Ramondre. Like, we saw that expanded Ramondre role. His price is suppressed right now. I'm not a big yards per carry guy, but the yards per carry in which the Browns defense is allowing right now is damn near 6. I don't know. Ramondre might be in that spot as kind of like that fallback. But I think what the analogy in which we were trying to make with targeting this slate is just the fact that those two high total games in the afternoon, the Seattle, Arizona, and the KC Buffalo, and then where was the other one? There's one other game. Oh, and the ownership from the Carolina Rams one, because we're not getting a discount right now. So those 3 afternoon games seem to be the ADP games that are all pushed up right now, right? Because you can build, I think a very common build right now would be to try and get Lamar plus Andrews at the turn, and then build out either a Gabe Davis, you get a one-off piece of that other environment, or people are looking to this Marquise plus DK or plus Lockett if it falls in that range, and then just kind of grabbing a one-off running back. I have seen that build over and over and over again right now, and I think that's where the kind of like chalk mindset is gravitating towards.
Definitely. Those high total games are 100% what the field is going to right now. And for good reason. I feel confident in those games being close to their totals. However, I think given that is what you've seen a lot and what I think we're going to continue to see, that's what makes me want to pivot to some interesting matchups that right now don't seem to be highly looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one game in particular I think that is super interesting. It's got a game total of only 43.5 right now, and that's the Bengals Saints.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, dude, that game, T. Higgins is banged up. He tried to play on an ankle injury, didn't make it through the game, so could be looking at a more extended absence now. Jamar Chase is probably not going to see blanket coverage from Marshawn Lattimore because he's not the prototypical X wide receiver that they utilize Lattimore on in blanket coverage.
One thing I'll add to that, Mark, is especially without T. Higgins, they move him to the slot a lot more So
Yeah.
that would be another nugget towards your point there that Lattimore most likely will not follow slot from a little hand in the dirt football guy shit, you know?
Yeah, and then you look at the Saints, and it's like, who do they have that's going to be healthy? It's going to be a big talking point this week. Like Michael Thomas is trying to come back from a multi-week absence. Jarvis Landry is dust and banged up. Chris Olave with the concussion. And Chris Olave was the first NFL player to be ruled out for the new ataxia rule or change in protocols for the NFL concussion protocol. So
can you explain that to me like I'm 5, please?
Yes. So they changed the wording in the concussion protocol to away from exhibits. I forget what the wording was, but it was like, is he showing signs of some neurological dysfunction, basically? And it was very gray. And that gray area was how Tua Tagovailoa was allowed back in the game back in week 3, the week before he got the second one, right? So the NFL and the NFLPA came together and they changed the wording of that specific portion of the concussion protocol to read ataxia, which is a neurological condition caused, or it's like symptoms exhibiting either unbalanced nature or speech impediment or confusion, or basically it's like a blanket statement of a medical term that covers anything that's weird after somebody could have experienced a neurological trauma.
Okay.
So that was when Olave on his touchdown grab, his helmet hit the dirt and he just basically went limp. And
he ragdolled.
And even though he like popped up after like laying on the dirt for a little bit, he popped up and looked all right, and he's like signaling touchdown, and he looked like cognizant, right? But it was like, no, dude, like you exhibited some imbalance or something associated with that. So they immediately took him to the blue tent. He immediately went back to the locker room, and then he was immediately ruled out. And it's like, that was a situation that was, it was exhibited also on Thursday with Nyheim Hines.
Yeah.
And that was before that rule came out, but that was exactly what basically happened to Tua. Like, Nyheim Hines didn't get hit in the head. He got like shoulder to shoulder bumped. And it just like, but he got up and he stumbled. So like, if they were reviewing that on the tape, they could have been like, well, he didn't hit his head. Like that gray area could have been like that. It was associated with a pinched nerve in his left, whatever, like, right. Like Tua's was apparently because of his back. But it's like, no, dude, like he was imbalanced. He was off balance. Couldn't stand up on his own. He had to be helped to the side. Okay. He's ruled out immediately. And so that's kind of the change now.
Just from a NFL standpoint, I'm glad that they're starting to do some of this stuff, because like the whole CTE and the concussion stuff, like we didn't know shit about that. Like when I was a kid and I was playing sports and stuff, like we didn't know anything about that. Like I came across the blue line one time when I was like 13 or 14, got like laid out flat, came up all dizzy, came to the bench. I puked like on the bench, played the rest of the game. Then we went to Spaghetti Factory after, which is like, you guys got Spaghetti Factory? Or is okay. I thought it was like Canadian Olive Garden, but here, you know.
It's not important.
Depends on who you ask, but
fair enough.
Never heard of it.
And I fell asleep in my spaghetti, like just lights out.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they took me to the hospital after, and it was like, in hindsight, like 15 years later, and like thinking back on that, it's like, oh my God, I could have done some real serious damage to myself. And that was like, you know, amateur puck. That's not at this level of these guys, grown ass men with weapons on their heads hitting each other. Right. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm glad it's much needed. Obviously we don't want this to affect our fun, but we want these guys to be safe.
Here we go. Talking about the Mizithra cheese. Damn straight. You get the Mizithra cheese. This is a little tips for the pros here. My sister worked at Spaghetti Factory when she was in high school. So we'd get the Mizithra cheese and then mix it with the spicy meat sauce. And then you get the kids' chicken strips on the side.
Viewers are just pouring in with this, with the Spaghetti Factory cheat sheet. Off the menu hacks that you have to know only on Bad Bros.
Yeah, we're not a one-trick pony show out here, man. We know all this shit. We got the football guy talk. We got the game theory off the top, and now we got Mazithra cheese shit. Here we go.
I think there's a game right now that similar to Bengals Saints low total that I think can definitely exceed its total. And it's back to my boys, Steelers and Bucks.
Ooh.
Definitely excited about this game from a fantasy standpoint. I don't expect JJ Watt to be back yet. Like he's still I think he's, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, whatever. They're the same dude. Watt to be back. And it did not look terrible against the Bills. I mean, it was a high volume day for him, 52 attempts, I believe, over 300 yards in the air. Bucks are a pass funnel. The Steelers are going to be playing catch up because the defense is not good. And I think all those weapons that we were liking from Tampa Bay last week, Fournette's in play again. Godwin is for sure in play, who's lower than Evans. So I think it's only a matter of time before Godwin outscores Evans like in a big way on these slates. Very much excited about this matchup from all angles. And like I said, from the Steelers side, even I'm not saying play Kenny Pickett, but his pass options I think are definitely in play here. And I definitely like this total to go over. I think Vegas understands that Kenny is
Tucker
not terrible,
agrees.
but I think people think that this Steelers offense is more doomed than what I personally think it actually is. But
okay,
all right.
No,
the Bills are just phenomenal.
Simmer
the
down,
Bills are
dude.
just
Simmer down there.
listen. You'll see. It's all right. It's okay.
I think the volume
Kirk Cousins is going to win MVP. So,
dude. All right, that's the game I want to talk about next. Straight up.
Okay.
The Vikings Dolphins, because that was my
Dolphins. Dude.
That was one of my well, I know my homer thing, but that just intrigues me.
That's a great call. Great call.
And just my little take is noon Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback of all time. So yeah, no, even 4:00, even no prime time, no prime time, no four. Just get him on noon, and that man can ball. So I don't know. That's just a little fun thing, but yeah, that game really intrigues me. So I want to know what your thoughts are here, Mark, on that.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up next. On super sharp, I think. I just actually. Was texting the OWS bros, like Vikings at Dolphins is probably going to go rather overlooked. And it's probably from a like team composition and game environment perspective is probably could like rival the later games that are going to be chalk. And it's going to be probably super easy to stack up in DFS. It's probably going to be super easy to stack up drafting. And we basically know like where the volume is going to go. It's like Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. Actually, Dalvin's an interesting case because his snap rate was like super down this past week.
They're using Madison a lot in the pass game.
Yeah, dude. Let me check what his snap rate was 57%. So like he started the year 77% week 1, 69% week 2. And then it's like he's been at 63% and lower the past 3 weeks. So
is anything about this the shoulder related, or is this all just, this is how the offense is running? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
It from what I've been like hearing and what Dalvin's literally like after games and then in interviews, he's like, no, this is Kevin's mentality. Like everyone's gonna eat. Okay. Like he's brought it over. Like we're gonna try and they're I think also trying to make sure Dalvin can possibly be there for most of the games, and even if he's playing at 57% snaps at 100% health or near it, like I think they'll take that, especially with the 1-2 combo. So they're not Mike Zimmer and going to be like, all right, Dalvin, you're going to handle everything and anything until you're done. And then but the thing about me is the Dolphins ADPs, like if they're, I know it. So right now, is it Skylar Thompson or is it Teddy? Because I know Teddy had he was out, like he wasn't experiencing concussion symptoms in the concussion protocol. So
it was the same thing, ataxia.
Okay. So,
but he's in the protocol.
I think regardless, these are two wide receivers that can torch this secondary, and they don't need a quarterback to get them the ball downfield. Exactly. They can do it in a million different ways. And our rush defense, both of them, I'm pretty sure are high up there. If I'm looking PFF, and I know it's just PFF, but it has them at second and third respectively as rush defenses. So like, if there's one way they're going to get home, and that could cause for the game to just go over. And if there's a lot of incomplete, you think about the games that you're watching a game that's rushing and they're almost starting, they're like 7 minutes into the second quarter. And all of a sudden this game still has 3 minutes in the first because it's just incomplete pass, or getting out of bounds, all this stuff, or it's just high scoring. That's what I immediately envisioned from this game. And then you add in the 21 ADP of Tyreek Hill and the 32 of Jalen Waddle. And that without drafting, that's the one thing that it's been sticking out to me. That's the third thing I have written down. That's the only last thing I have written down.
Yeah. So both those defenses are pass funnel, and both of those offenses are positive pass rate over expectation. So I want to get the true numbers of their pass rate real quick.
The only thing that affects it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the only thing that affects it on the Miami side is obviously the quarterback, but I don't think they would play different because they didn't play different last week. I mean, granted, it was small sample with Teddy in there. It was very short-lived, but even with Thompson, like they still played pretty aggressive.
Yeah. And Minnesota is 6th in the league in overall pass rate at 63.4%. League average is like 60.5 right now. And Miami is right behind them at 63.32. So they're 6 and 7 in overall pass rate. They're both positive pass rate over expectation, and they're both pass funnel defenses. So I think the moderate game total is likely pretty heavily influenced by the unknowns in Miami's quarterback situation. But like Numi was saying, like that is less pertinent when you have guys like Raheem Mostert and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle that can just break it from anywhere.
Yeah, top end speed like that.
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask is, Nez, what do you think the ADPs of Tyreek and Waddle would be if Tua was in there this week?
You would think that they would probably be second round, right? Like sort of how they were. Was that the Bills game that kind of underwhelmed, where they were going like back to back? It would have to be like that, and then we'd be talking, oh wow, this game is the fourth chalkiest game on the slate, where you can easily game stack these guys. A lot of leverage there, like all fantastic points. This is why people should watch the show, because these values are not reflecting like the ceilings of these guys right now, like at all.
Yeah. And I think that's why I asked the question that I knew you'd allude to, that is the fact that basically Tyreek is sitting down here, and we know he's a break the slate talent every single week, right? And he's sitting down here with a 22 ADP. And in a game, talking these battle royales, in a game where we're searching for the nuts, who has a better path to the nuts than Tyreek Hill every single week?
Yeah.
You know?
And I love taking my overs in Vikings games. So this is this is.
I mean, it's just watching the team play and they allowed the Bears to eat in the passing game. Like they just, if they can do that, and like we all are, I think we're all in agreement that Mike McDaniel has proven that he can get his guys in spots, and that's like he's with all of these other talent on there. In your edge, you're just like, with all the other talent there, it's like the guys that prove are gonna that are just gonna score more points at a better clip are Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So he's just gonna press it and do whatever he can. So I think
I've seen Waddle go undrafted a few times now. I think
it's just
once or twice. He's just he's sitting down there with that 33.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it a lot. It's and this is I like to be honest with you, I like the Miami side more. I mean, it's just with the values. Like I'll have Justin and all that. I think the fun thing about Miami was they basically do zero blitz. If I saw, they just run zero blitz, where they'll just send guys, and it leaves guys in a lot of man. That's one thing I was reading on Twitter, and I was just looking it up, and so it's like that's one thing immediately clip was like, if guys are going to be in a lot of man, you would think that that bodes well for Justin Jefferson, and
right?
Even Adam Thielen.
Good effing luck.
And that could be wrong. Mark might come in here and be like, that's not even close. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. So like, but that's what I saw.
Don't hedge. Own that shit. Come on.
The Dolphins through 4 weeks. I only have the first 4 weeks data for blitz rate, but they were 25.7% blitz rate in week 1, 73. Oh, sorry, this is percentage man coverage. they were 25.7 man coverage in week 1. League average is about 30. So that's right at league average. Week 2, 73.5%. And then the subsequent 2 weeks, 42.5 and 56.8. So yeah, they're in man coverage a lot. Their blitz rate is like 27-ish%. So they're sending guys and they're covering man on the back end, which has been difficult. And they've been doing more even through the defensive injuries in the secondary, which is, you would think they would run more zone, but they're just like, they're running man with inferior talent now.
Yeah, it's so much easier to not get hyper exposed with backup pieces by running zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One little thought I had here: Mike McDaniel is who we thought Brandon Staley was.
I saw that tweet. Did you tweet
Yeah.
that? Was that what you tweeted? Was that your tweet? I was like, I
hot
saw that
take right now. That's my hot take right now.
Check this secondary starting lineup for Miami. So Xavier Howard was played injured in week 4 and then re-injured himself, missed week 5. He's like their biggest plus piece. They have Nick Needham, who is like in his 4th year and has been a perennial whipping boy. And they have this one, Noah Igbenegine, who is his only snaps he's seen all season. So like he's not even sniffed playing time until Xavier Howard missed. And he didn't even come in relief of him in week 4. He played 53% in week 5. And he is like PFF's like bottom 10 in coverage grades over the last 2 years. So yeah, he is not good. And then their secondary or their safety unit is like Javon Hall and Brandon Jones, who are plus players, but like if they're running that much man and you got Nick Needham and Noah Igbenegine in coverage, that's what's up.
And I mean Thielen, I was just checking this. I mean, he's basically going undrafted right now.
I love Thielen and Osborne too, as just little
exposure to that game environment. Yeah.
Yep. I just
like
nuked the over in this game. I can't take it anymore. Can't take it anymore.
He's got
just silent over here.
Oh, how many units can I do without my wife wondering what the hell happened to all our money?
Oh man, I hope Kirk doesn't just let you down here, bud.
No, I was gonna do that anyway.
Perfect.
How I am.
Perfect. Yeah, and then PFF has the Dolphins, just to go inside with this, as like you were right in the grades, as a third. The Dolphins is a 30 coverage grade out of 32, and then the Vikings is a 28. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a nice little piece right there. Just as, yeah. Okay, I want to talk about 2 players. Selfishly, I want to get some thoughts from you guys. I am all over Joe Mixon this week. Expected fantasy points, leader at the running back position right now, talking about how he's got those carries inside the 10 and turned them into nothing. And I'm just staring at his ADP of 28.8 and just going, yeah, I'm going to get me some Joe Mixon this week and just hope it's Joe Mixon week.
Yeah.
I know what we said about the New Orleans defense last week, like that interior line might be for real, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? And yeah,
it's hard.
I don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't really like some of the like expected fantasy point stuff, but in Joe Mixon's case, you want to talk about like meat on the bone. He has just not converted anything. And I don't, and I think it's good to look at that from the, not just like an overall volume standpoint, but from like the goal line carries, like we had mentioned, like on the top of the show, about how many that he has not converted, that we can only expect for that to regress in his way. I will say, just from like a film grinder bro standpoint, just some bro sign, Joe Mixon just does not look super sharp this season.
Okay.
Just from my eyeballs, but the fact that the usage is just like so good in a matchup that I think can eclipse that total. And if Higgins doesn't play, there's some more concentration toward Mixon and the ancillary pieces, of course. At that's definitely like far too low, I think, for Joe Mixon to be drafted. I'm with you there.
I have a spicy take for basically Josh Jacobs is what we wanted Joe Mixon to be.
Tell him.
Oh, I like
at that right now, he's
Yeah.
showing, he had to have the same, but Josh Jacob, like, when he's like, your tweet, man, your tweets, passes the eye test. I hate to say it. I'm like, dude, I'm watching this man just pound through people. I'm like, this is what we expect. And like when Joe Mixon just has the cement blocks and then just stops. Like he just done.
Yeah.
He just no effort. Yeah, that's just hilarious. And like the thing on the fantasy points, expected fantasy points, like Joe Mixon expected fantasy points is second to Cooper Kupp, and he's negative 42 in that, like plus minus.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, who is ahead of him, actually is like it's 22.8. So he's expected, or like he's outseeding his expected fantasy points. And it's just crazy. Like it's just absolutely crazy what Joe Mixon's done. But yeah, at this value, I'll scoop him up. But it's interesting because I like Ramondre so much more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Interesting.
I'm with
against
you.
the Browns, against the Browns 32 ranked rushing defense, with no Damian Harris, give me Ramondre. I think it's
okay.
And it's just strictly, and when Joe Mixon's there, I'll mix him in. But to your point, like I do agree with it. Like when he's staring you in the face, it's going to be very hard. But if I'm just going to go with until Ramondre kind of passes him, or if that happens, I really do like Ramondre per the Joe Mixon. So
I could definitely see that. Definitely from a matchup standpoint. The one thing that scares me about the Patriots-Browns game is just the fact that, hey, if both teams come out, play super slow, and just run the ball over and over again, that clock's just going to churn, and we're not going to see nearly as many plays in that game as we could potentially see in the Bengals, i.e. opportunities for fantasy points. But I could see just in a vacuum, Ramondre being a better running back play than Mixon this week. Like, you run the slate 10,000 times or whatever. Like, yeah, he's probably going to outscore him, but I think the ceiling potential of Mixon is probably higher. That's just my take. I don't know. Mark, what do you see in that game environment?
Sorry, we're talking about Patriots, right?
Yeah. Patriots Browns.
Yeah.
I am.
We're talking about Mixon, and then I brought in my tangent of Ramondre.
Yeah,
so
I am very curious your thoughts on this because, like, I'm worried. Like, I get worried whenever there's like a really good defense in a matchup, and I do think that the Patriots might be, it was the Lions. Say what you will about them, we're still not quite sure like what they are truly, but I've just been seeing a lot of buzz about the Patriots defense lately. Like, I'm wondering if like this game can give enough points for Ramondre to get home like that.
From a personnel standpoint, the Patriots defense is not what it used to be, but they're still a Bill Belichick defense.
Okay.
They're still like bend but don't break, keep you out of the end zone. They're playing high rates of man coverage. So what does that mean? And they're also scheming weekly to take away like a team's top means of running or of moving the football. So like that was very clearly last week, like hunkering down on TJ Hawkinson because Amon-Ra St. Brown was hobbled and Josh Reynolds couldn't do shit. And then they just balled it up and held Jamal Williams to 59 yards on however the hell many carries he had. But so like if you think about like how Bill Belichick is likely to scheme for this game, it's probably gonna be like loaded boxes for the duration of the contest. Like let's make their pass game beat us type deal. And I'd expect Amari Cooper to see heavier rates of man coverage. So if that is the case and they're slowing down Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, it could stall the game environment. But on the flip side of that, we know pretty much exactly how the Patriots are going to look to attack this game. Same thing with last week. It was like they're going to just pound the ball on the ground. Mac Jones is coming off of a high ankle sprain. We don't know if he's going to play. He's already a pretty immobile quarterback, so it's going to be a pocket passer. The Cleveland Browns are in zone in like one of the top rates in the league, and they are very much a prevent like 4-3 front based defense, and it's just like they're just going to settle in. What happened last week is Jacoby Myers like proved he just smokes man coverage because Detroit just runs a shit ton of man, and Jacoby Myers just settled in there, man. He was just eating over the middle of the field. But like this week, he's going to have to find those like coverage lapses in zone. So it's a completely different ball game. All that to say, I think Ramondre is a very, very strong play. because it was already like whittled down to a 2-man backfield, and now Damian Harris expected to miss significant time. And we're likely
Silas brings up a good point associated with that is to watch the news on Ty Mont being activated and potentially cutting into that pass catching role, like especially in a trailing script. Like if we paint this game as like, hey, Nick Chubb scores, 1 on the ground and Amari scores 1 and they're up, 20-0 at half or something like that, we might find ourselves in a Ty Mont script if Ty Mont's activated.
When did he go on IR? After week 1?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes.
So he's eligible to return.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's an interesting little thought process there.
Well, it says he's unlikely to return in week 6.
Okay.
Per Zachary Cox of Nesson.
And Belichick just said October 10th yesterday. I do not expect him to return to the practice this week, but it's Belichick, so we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but it was just
It's Pierre Strong
for the season long bros. Okay, yeah, and there's hopefully not, but for the season long bros,
and still the remnants of JJ Taylor, I think. Is he still there?
Hey guys, in the Millie last week, I played a Bailey Zappi double. Just ask me anything.
Bro, I said
with Hunter Henry and Jacoby Myers. Yeah,
I said that I was going to run Zach Wilson, and I did, dude, and it cashed. So fuck all you haters.
Oh, there we go. See,
let's go.
Honestly, it's not about winning big money. It's about having the grossest possible
moral
team
victories,
imaginable. Honestly, I would take the gross team cashing over a win every single time. Like if I could get home with this like 6% owned or like less than 1% owned. Oh yeah, for the bit, baby.
I put up 167 with Zach Wilson, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson stack.
Let's go. That's beautiful. That's in my books. That's the exact same as
Stones.
Hey, I know
the exact same thing as putting up 259 points in my books.
Yeah,
I know this is totally off topic. But in relation to your Jets, how do you feel about Elijah Moore right now?
Dude, he's too talented to see what 12% team target market share. What is he seeing this year? Like 12%? It's insane.
Yeah, it's not. I had it. I have to go back now.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it right now.
Right here.
Stupid low. 14.3%.
14.3%.
Yeah.
And Corey Davis ran 92% of routes, while Elijah Moore ran a season low 79.
Yeah, well, he still has a 91.7% route participation rate this year, and he's run the second most routes in the entire league. So, like, I don't know. That's obviously tilted by the fact that they had like 59 and 55 pass attempt games over the first 3 weeks. But I think there's just too much goodness there for it to go on any longer. I'll keep playing him. I didn't this week. I played Garrett just because I'm a chicken shit and I already had a Jets triple stack. So
if Bridgewater doesn't get hurt, there's a good chance that game is like they scored 40 points anyways, but it was largely because Breece Hall just like went Super Saiyan. But there's a good chance that if Bridgewater stays healthy, they're able to push the pace there. We could have seen like a bit more of these wide receivers get there. So get them in a situation where they're like supremely negative game script, and we'll see our guys get home. I feel confident.
Let's talk about Breece Hall, man. So
I was just going to say that
he increased his participation over the last 2 weeks. He was at 66% snap rate in week 4, and he had like 69% of the running back opportunities that week. And then that was in a negative game environment. Then he came in a positive game environment.
100 yards.
Yeah. So then he came in a positive game environment in week 5 and saw 69% snap rate and majority of the backfield opportunities. Outside of the 2 like troll 1-yard touchdowns from Michael Carter, who ran for like 25 yards and had 2 touchdowns, something stupid like that. But like this is Breece Hall takeover it was started to happen in week 4, and it is like cemented now because we've seen 2 separate, very different game environments, and he was the lead back, unquestioned 1A alpha guy in both weeks.
Man, I'm starting to soften my stance on running back talent on bad teams. Like I was not on him this year in best ball. I was not on Dameon Pierce in best ball, like I mixed them in, right? Like I have exposure, but I wasn't like targeting them in any regard. I was like, these are bad teams, bad offense, bad quarterback play. I just don't want a piece of it kind of deal. And now I'm kind of like, man, maybe I should have just like thrown all that shit out the window and just, bet on talent a little bit more based on what everybody else was saying about those players. I don't know if there's any takeaway there, but I'm just, putting it out there.
Fairly all in Breece Hall, particularly when he was going in the 5th, like early draft season. And then he started trickling up into the 4th and I eased a little bit, but like Breece Hall, like the Jets vastly improved their offensive line. And then they all got hurt. Like after I stopped drafting, like I maxed like in early August or in early July. And it was like, I can't draft on Underdog anymore, but and then they all got hurt. It's like, great. But like Breece Hall, the situation like coming into the year is like this guy is like a top 4 running back prospect, like, and people are comparing him to like being able to do the things that like Saquon has done and that Jonathan Taylor have done. He's like that good of a prospect. And then the Jets like improved their offensive line. They went out and drafted some offensive talent. So I was like, yeah, Breece Hall is the guy. Dameon Pierce, dude, it was like it's a Lovie Smith team. They have like a shit offensive line, negative game environments. And it was like, I don't care like what kind of rusher he is. He's probably not going to be utilized in the pass game much. So I missed on that and I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Like there's so much had to go right in order for Dameon Pierce to hit when it was like, we have more outs with Reese coming into the year, but
okay. Hot take segment right now. I'm just going to throw out like 3 names. I just want rapid fire. None of this bullshit. I want to hear any justifications here. Numi. Aaron Jones or Breece Hall rest of the season?
Breece Hall.
Wow.
Let's go.
This is awesome. Okay. Yeah. Nez.
Same comparison. It's Breece Hall. Like no questions asked.
I just
Mark?
think for me,
I love Aaron Jones.
Hey, I said rapid fire. No.
Breece Hall.
Fuck, 3 for 3 on Breece Hall over Aaron Jones. I don't know. Like just coming into the season, I knew the narrative on Hall. Wow. Okay.
He just needed the opportunity. Now he's got it.
I like it.
And I was a Michael Carter guy coming into the year too. Like, I really liked him.
It's like and for me, it's like Michael Carter versus AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon's up there. It's like they're going to continue to use him. You know what I mean? Like that Packer.
Oh yeah. What about?
100%.
Okay, shelf the Packers takes. What about Joe Mixon or Breece Hall rest of the season? Mixon, Hall. Who you got, Nez?
That's tough. I feel like I have to say Mixon, but Breece Hall is just so much more fun and exciting, right?
It's crazy we're having these conversations though, like, right? Like it just shows you how much can change in both recency bias and whatever. I don't know.
The thing that makes Breece Hall to me, like why I would lean Breece Hall, like I think Mixon has a ton more touchdowns coming his way, but Breece Hall I think has, correct me if I'm wrong, like a much more attractive passing game usage than Mixon does. Really, I mean, it's kind of to me the willingness to use Breece Hall in the pass game. I would love to see them in a negative game script and like. If he gets like a 6-catch, like 80-yard game, like we're gonna end up talking about this guy being game script proof. Like it just
had 23. He had 23 targets through 4 weeks, and that was second only to Austin Eckler at the running back position.
Right.
Yeah,
so he's already shown that.
Yeah. I was just saying, like I didn't want to completely write off. I know they are sometimes using Mixon more in the pass game, but primarily not necessarily his game. But the fact that they've shown the willingness to put Breece in the passing game, like I think I just talked myself into Breece over Mixon there. But man.
Okay, I got one last one. Alvin Kamara or Breece Hall?
Breece Hall.
Wow.
I'm just gonna go Breece Hall 3 for 3.
Wow. Yeah, see it is.
Breece Hall 1.01.
This is wild. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, Breece Hall 101. Like
yeah.
Vote for Breece at your local
How about
Breece Hall keeper into my next best ball leagues? Like how
about CMC without the quarterback with this
Breece Hall? At this point it's the bit. At this point it's the bit. Breece Hall.
Stop it.
We've jumped the shark. There we go.
Yeah.
Breece Hall over JJ. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Hey, Paul, I'll answer this question for you. He's asking why Mark maxed out. It's because, as we alluded to earlier in the show, He's premature. He just prematurely blew his load. He's got 4 kids for a reason. He got really excited in the middle of the summer
like
and
chihuahua,
just entered all his best ball manias right away.
You want to know the real reason?
I want to know the real reason.
How long you got?
We got time. No.
So the early drafts, when they opened in like after the NFL draft in like May, I noticed very quickly that people were not embracing enough variance early in the draft window. So I basically just leaned into that and accepted as much variance as I possibly could. I was building stupid like 0 RB teams, forcing them early, knowing that like those running back targets were likely to increase in ADP and you could never build teams like that again. So like just hammering the wide receivers early. The other things that people were doing is like they were taking both running backs from an ambiguity ridden situation. So like in Miami, like people were drafting like both Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert on rosters. And I was like, okay, you guys don't necessarily understand the theoretics behind this right now. So I leaned into that. I didn't take stands. It was just like spreading ownership and exposure. But like leaning into those highly variant situations when the field was like waiting until there was more certainty in the NFL before leaning into that variance. So like, I just wanted to get exposure to uncertainty and lean into it when the field wasn't.
Paul, I would say
guy. Do you mind saying?
Say again?
Who's your highest exposed player?
Rashad
Thielen.
That's sick.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, if he could start producing
a
little bit, that would be nice, huh?
Paul, I would say
they could actually start using him.
You guys jerk each other off about that.
Just kick us off screen.
Don't ask me mine. Do not ask me mine.
Paul, I would say to that, I would go back and listen to those 1 week season pods that Mark was putting out throughout that best ball off season. He was doing 1 a week throughout the window. I was on 3 of them. Liam was on some. Herzig was on some. That shit is evergreen. And even going back and just listening to them now, like mid-season, and going back and just to pick up some of those theoretical principles associated with this and to see what has come to fruition, even if the player takes were wrong in some instances, like just to see like the macro level thinking associated with these games, it'll make you 1,000 times better battle royale. And not you specifically, Paul, I just mean you, the macro level of anyone out there. It'll make you a way better battle royale player. It'll make you a way better DFS player, and going into next year's best ball, it'll make you way better at that, because they're concepts that people don't talk about with regularity or fluidity. And it's kind of like, oh, this is the sicko level of this game we can get to. Yeah, that's where we're going with it, right? And it's very cool. You can pluck and move player names, and they effectively don't matter when you're just talking about the overarching theory of the game, right?
True.
What do you guys say we jump in 1 or 2 here? I know Mark has a hard out. Mark, what show are you going on next?
I'm doing the fantasy points with Scott Barrett here.
Nice.
In a couple minutes,
yeah. So pay attention to that one, guys. I guess that'll come out later today or tomorrow morning, something like that.
Yeah, I think later today.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, these have been really fun to rip right now, just because I mean, we got tons of star power that we were lacking the last 2 weeks. So anytime you get Kelsey and Andrews on the same slate, dude, this is very fun. And we've seen Taysom go so early in these.
Yeah, I've been tweeting them. There's like
stop
13, 15, 12. I've seen him. 13's I think 12's the new high, or maybe 13's the new high.
Wow,
that's crazy.
All I'm saying is,
Brett, friend of the show, come on the show one time. I want to talk to this guy. If you're out there in the world, I want to talk through this. He's in all the streets. Him and Freezer, open invite. Hit me up in the DMs. Find me. I've never found you. I've been scouring the internet for you.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I've been searching for Freezer and Brett for years, just
exactly
on Twitter. Even Eagles has been searching for him since June, looking for him. Everybody's looking for him. Like, how is he so online but so offline at the same time?
You're looking for James, or James is looking for
No,
that dude?
looking
No,
for
he's looking for
James is
Oh,
also
okay.
looking for him. So we're
Okay.
not alone in being weird
Yeah.
and like seeking out this anonymous Brett.
Yeah.
Is it
Dude,
just Brett?
just
yeah.
yeah.
I don't
just
know.
Brett.
Yeah.
Is it
That's what I-
somebody else?
That well,
Yeah,
have you
what if
seen-
his name
there's
isn't
another
Brett?
one.
So I'm
Yeah.
There's
saying.
another one now. There's another one now called Brett Boy, but with no experience badge or anything like that, and just
Yep.
one goat horn.
There's multiple Bretts. There's a Brett Boy. There's a literally
the
just
spin-off
says Brett
names
and
right
numbers.
now.
Yeah, what is happening?
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know.
Such troll jobs.
Oh, look
There's
at
a
that.
dude
They
in
gave us
these
pick
named
6.
Warner.
Warner. What about
Yeah,
the
I
MN
see him all the
Nesbitt or
time.
whatever?
Yeah, that's a
M-
trip because my dad's name's Michael, so that's a trip to see that. I have to do a double take every time, but he's not. He's Dub City. If you see Dub City, that's Coach Mike. Just know if you see Dub City in your lobbies, you're about to get wrecked.
Coach
Dude,
Mike, baby.
Dude doesn't miss.
Old
Mark,
ball
what's your
coach.
Underdog username? I don't know if I've
I think it's just Hilo.
Is it Hilo?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
Hilo.
I've always looked for. I would see it right away and be like, okay, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so Kelsey goes here. Man, it would be. I don't know how you're feeling about like Lamar Andrews, but I feel like anytime I get that, I just need to just do it for
Don't you
now,
dare
you know.
jinx
And
that.
then
Don't you put that omen out in the world. We're getting it right here. Oh, thanks a lot, Nez.
Yeah, you blew
Son of a
it.
bitch.
So
You
I have an idea.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. Woo!
Okay,
First draft.
Jefferson, and who
go.
else?
Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
who?
Get crazy. Jamar Chase.
And Shamar? Okay, yeah, sure.
Let's go.
That-
Crazy.
yeah.
I actually, my
That's
first
going to be
draft.
a fairly low combinatorial ownership, I would think.
Oh, hey, actually, I was
don't
gonna say.
get John excited.
Oh,
Come on.
Yes, tell me again about a combinatorial ownership.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Ay,
say
ay, ay.
earlier. What was the word? Apathy. What the
Ataxia.
Ataxia?
Yeah. And I
ataxia
looked
is
that
the
up.
new
Yeah.
is the new swear jar. Yeah, ataxia is the new combinatorial
I hope not.
ownership.
I
We'll
hope
put
we're not
that in
talking about mass ataxia across the league. That would suck. Nobody can stand
You were-
upright. It's awful. We've got
Yeah, Mark, you were spot on in
Mason
all of
Rudolph.
that. When I'm looking that up, like literally, ataxia is the abnormality of balance and stability of and motor condition or motor coordination or dysfunctional speech caused by a neurological issue, and they replaced the term gross motor instability, and
Yeah.
then added ataxia for all that. So literally, as you're like trying to explain it from memory, you literally just recited it perfectly.
I had
Well
to
done.
I had to write about it a little bit this past week.
Gotcha.
You know what's
Yeah.
one thing I've been noticing this week comparative to last is like it was damn near impossible to get like Diggs Allen or let's go back 2 weeks of slates. It was damn near impossible to get Diggs Allen or Lamar Andrews or Mahomes Kelsey, like stuff like that. I've been noticing in like lobbies where like if you're in just Brett's position right here, right? And you see like two badged guys to your right, they're apprehensive to take just the naked like tight end in whatever reason. So if you take like Kelsey first, a lot of times Mahomes falls, or if you take Andrews first, a lot of times Lamar. But if you're playing with recreationals, they just draft off like the ADP. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
So
no,
I've
that's super sharp.
I've noticed the fact that the combinations of like tight end plus passer are going to be like way higher owned this week than in past weeks where we had game environments like this on the slate. Just something to note.
Brett clearly watching the stream here.
Yeah, I was about to
Reaching-
say that
reaching
just
on
took
time.
our run back there. That was all I had in mind.
We still got Waddle.
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Oh, we got Alex.
Yeah, no, for sure. What do you guys like here?
So I mentioned like the Bucks against the Steelers. I think that
Okay.
I think
And the Steelers are giving up almost 60 fantasy
What if we do
points
that?
per game to opposing
Okay.
wide receivers. It's so
What if we do
gross.
that?
yeah.
You guys like
Do
that?
it. Fuck it.
Yeah, and if you wanted to
sir.
wait on Brady and grab a running back like we could, but I don't mind
Okay,
taking
well let's
taking
see.
Brady.
Let's
We could do Brady, and then we have all these running backs that we've been talking about late.
wow, Ramondre at 14.
Okay, never
That's,
mind.
On the
Um,
slate, yeah. Dialed.
I know we still. I mean, we still have quite a bit, but yeah, I'm down for it.
We
Yeah.
could
Just
double
because,
up
I mean,
on Dalvin
I
and,
wouldn't want to
You
like
could do Kamara for the run back of.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Chase.
Let's do that
I
because
will say
then
I don't
it's
want to
not
stack.
the worst.
Well, I guess we could have to now. Never mind. Sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just about to say it's not the worst thing in the world to end up unstacked on Evans when we have Burrow to fall back on as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Unstacked Mike Evans isn't going to kill you. Like, so.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I will
So
say
then-
I hate the idea of taking Joe Burrow in these drafts right now.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Why is that?
Same.
Man, his ceiling this season just does not like. It's not very high, and I feel like the book is out on the Bengals, and Joe Burrow is telling everybody that the book is out on them because he's
just
like,
play cover 2 against us, and we don't know what to do.
Damn, everybody's playing zone.
I don't know how to fold the river. I never fold the river.
Yeah, like it just seems it's like everybody just has the number on him, and hasn't had a ceiling game yet. In this game environment, I'm not sure that the ceiling game is there for him either, but I think for Chase, it's absolutely in play with Higgins banged up. And Chase's volume has been there. He just hasn't gotten home. It's just been a little bit of run bad if you were to ask my thoughts on him. So I don't know.
Chase is a player that can go for like 202 and Burrow can still only throw for like 270 and 2.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Matter.
Right. Yeah, that's well said.
How bad is going to Kirk if you can't get Brady?
Okay. We get it.
I mean, generally in fantasy points wise, what are you missing out there?
No, you're 100% correct.
Like
you're
that.
100% correct. Yeah, I really.
And
like
that's
that
just
too.
as a plan because and then we're talking about that defense. So yeah, I mean Kirk. I mean that rushing touchdown. If they get in there, they're willing to sneak and do just things that we've never seen. So
we get the ownership discount too. That's like a nice thing that I've been thinking a lot of with the quarterback because quarterback's been thrust up and you've needed like X quarterback to win the slate a couple times. Last week, that was not the case. You could have had Geno or Allen basically, or Hurts. You could have had Hurts as well. Yeah. So just kind of reverting back to the fact that we think quarterback scoring is generally pretty flat. So why not take the ownership discount at certain intervals, right? Because now in this build, we basically have our pick of
hold on.
We have our pick of all of these quarterbacks or Cousins.
What's going on with wide receivers in this draft room, dude? What the fuck?
And we need a tight end. So it's quarterback,
we took
tight end,
all
right?
of them.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but like, look at usually you see orange everywhere up top, right? Like this is weird.
No, it's weird.
It is.
It's super deep.
Okay, what do we think tight end this week? We could go
Hayden Hurst Burrow. Let's shit on it all. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just screw me. Oh man, I'm
kind of fine with it. I'm kind of fine with it. Okay. My eyes are either double with Burrow or it's Cousins or Brady
Kittle.
plus these two. Yeah. Let's do Cousins Kittle.
I'm down with whatever. I'll make it so we can. Yeah, you guys make this.
So, I'm okay with Kittle, but I am. Yeah, I guess at this point you're not getting like too much leverage. I was going to say Dawson Knox to me is like an interesting play, just because he has the Q tag, and if he doesn't, and if he doesn't play, you get a swap. But like we took Kittle, so I mean, like you might as well just grab like. There's not a whole lot of like.
Do we like Cousins or do we like Brady here?
Either one. I mean, you made the points for the ownership discount, but. Do we need to? I don't know. So,
I like Cousins. Brady, but
okay.
No, Mark's the guest. Mark's the guest.
Mark,
what if they?
Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins.
Oh, you blew it.
Yeah.
Cousins like 3 times. He was like Cousins.
That's an inside job. He fudged that on purpose. Oh,
that's not even my birthday, dude.
There's a 6-second delay between like you guys and me. I swear. Bunch of idiots.
I gotta run, dudes.
All right. Hey, good luck on the pod, and we'll be looking forward to that. Everybody check that one out.
Thanks for jamming, Mark.
Yeah, man. We'll see you guys Friday.
We'll see you Friday. We might have to switch up a couple a time slot on Friday. We have one special guest on Friday guaranteed. A man who brings us the walkthrough on NBC. He's going to be stopping on by.
Oh,
and maybe no name drops.
Oh, sorry.
And
no one knows what I'm talking about.
And maybe perhaps the head of winning. Have you guys ever heard of the head of winning on Underdog? There's someone with the title. So We may or may not potentially. We're in talks. We're in contract negotiations. So,
Good, dude, that's big.
Yeah. So we could have some big ones on Friday. We might have to combine some shows. We might be
shake
running
hand me, dude.
No. We'll plan it out. We'll be in talks. But thank you, Mark, and
thanks for the
enjoy
knowledge
show.
as always, brother.
See you guys.
Mark.
See you, buddy. You guys want to run one more?
Yeah.
Nah, I can't be here with you guys any longer.
Yeah.
Marty's sick of you.
That was a good like little nugget not nugget, but just like for Mark to point out, like the wide receivers were so deep
dude.
like,
Yeah,
and I don't hate the way that we did it because like we still got 3 alphas, but like it's so deep.
Something I wanted to point out, and I don't know if this relates to BRs. I don't know what, it's probably more season long.
Okay.
It had to do with the quarterback scoring.
Okay. I like it.
So
tough room.
So it's only 5 weeks. So this is from if you guys know who JJ Zacharyson is, late round QB. Yeah.
Never.
So it's only been 5 weeks. 5 weeks. You know what, John? Just it's only been 5 weeks.
He's coming on the show, man. What are you talking about?
But the high end quarterbacks in fantasy football are giving you the largest ed we've seen over the last 5 years, and he has a little table for it and beyond. This table is showing that the points per game over the top 12, top 6, and top 3 quarterbacks, minimum 8 games played for the previous season, and it's basically it's a big gap. You can bring up the chart. I can send you the link or whatever, but rather than me trying to
put the link in the chat there.
Yeah. Another good chart that JJ tweeted out was the frequency of quarterbacks throwing 15 or more air yards, and Geno Smith he has 157 attempts, 18.5% 15-yard attempt rate, which is well above most of the field for a 65% completion rate. I look at that and I'm excited about it and I love it. Other people smarter than me look at that and they say like regression is coming so
coming
fast
for Geno.
But
who do we got? Sorry, 11 seconds. Who do we like?
You guys make the call. I'm good with whatever. I like. Yep,
Kelsey.
I like that. Yep.
Kelsey was
despite the fact that
elite
QB is like a huge edge. But it's the edge with tight end is even larger.
Yeah.
One thing I'll note to this is we're only drafting 6 quarterbacks each week in these battle royales. So the discrepancy between 27 and 24 isn't as meaningful as like in a home league where like you're playing 12 quarterbacks, right? And you're seeing this. So
and that's what I said. It was more season long.
for sure. For sure. Yeah. No. I'm just illustrating
that's a great point.
My thoughts. And
even if you do from the top 6 to the top 3, it's only like 2.8. So, but
it's interesting to think through because what we've been dealing with in all these contests is thrust up quarterback ADP, right? Like that's just what we've been dealing with every single week, and I don't know, is it justified? Is it? Who knows?
That's kind of what I kind of brought it up and just talking point with the whole thrust up, but.
I like one of those two here. What do you guys like?
Yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with Saquon. And I think we just talked about the wide receiver depth as well. Like Nez just pointed that out. So that could be a way to approach it.
Yeah. The one thing with the Giants that's interesting this week is I think the way you beat the Ravens is through the air. And they have had a pretty favorable pass rate over expectation on first down. So it might be that the Giants just come out and trust in Daniel Jones. They
passed to Saquon quite a bit though. I mean, like he's like I
like this a lot.
Route participation up and all that, but
this is hard. This is hard to say no to. This game has shootout written all over.
Man,
Gabe Davis is going to be
crazy how much he's rose.
You know what I'm going to say about the back end of the draft board so far in this area is I think a rarer combination. I think everyone's eyes gravitate to Lamar Andrews or Mahomes Kelsey or something like that. What I think might be slightly rarer or slightly less owned that has maybe a higher ceiling potential is Kelsey Diggs.
Okay.
And I have not seen it much because I think everyone's eyes are like, hey, how do I get how do I get the elite tight end paired with my quarterback and then worry about the rest?
like that
I
a
have
lot,
not
yeah.
seen it. I've not seen it a ton. I've only been able to get it once or twice.
You're only in a few of your drafts, so let's just remember that we're only seeing a lens to.
No,
But,
exactly. No,
but yeah,
100%,
no.
but yeah,
I like that. Yeah, if people are having done no drafts, if you're seeing people are trying to gravitate towards the tight end and
nasty start.
Oh,
nasty start.
and also I know we'll draft quick. I got a little update on our.
I like this
on the Washington Redskins practice. So
excuse me.
The who?
The who?
Goodness
God, are we gonna have to cancel him? Indians and Redskins over and over again. We're gonna have to cancel. Numi, you're going in timeout, bud.
Yeah,
let's
get me out
just
of here. I'm sorry.
You like Tyreek?
Let's. But
I think we have to take Tyreek just based on everything we've talked about him.
Sure, I have a mini with him too. We could do.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I'm sure I do, don't I? Yeah. I don't even know what my train of thought was. Commanders, right? I don't even know what I was talking about.
You're talking about the Commanders.
Yeah. Now that you guys called me out on that again.
What happened in practice? You said you had a practice.
Oh yeah, the practice reports. See, I didn't have that. Jahan Dotson, Logan Thomas were all DMPs, and Carson Wentz was limited. So that for our
was that
previously
Tuesday?
drafted contest.
Was that Tuesday?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, because I know Monday they were giving out estimates.
I mean, I just got it today. I'm assuming it's today's.
Gotcha.
Okay, what do we like here? We could go Godwin and try and get Brady on the way back and just hope this guy doesn't take Brady, or we could get weirder than that.
What about your boy JT?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean,
yeah, twist my arm.
Yeah, they got optimism there. I mean, this is one of those things, that we might look back on and be like, holy crap!
I was not. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking.
If Jonathan Taylor gets a full participation, one of these days in practice, he's instantly a third rounder.
Yeah.
I don't know that he goes higher because people are not
double.
His results haven't been great, but
I like this little backdoor double for that Arizona Seattle game. Is you can kind of just go Ertz, Kyler, and then if DK or Lockett fall, you can take the last one there, which is imagine what Chip's plan kind of is.
In the chat, nice team there, Chip.
Yeah. Am I an idiot for not knowing who Chip Skylark is?
You don't know that name? What that's from?
That's from freaking Fairly Odd.
Fairly Odd Parents.
With shiny teeth and me.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I still don't know what you're talking about.
That's too bad.
Fairly Odd.
Too bad. I don't know what that is.
Wanda.
Okay, we do not have a natural. This is an interesting thing about taking JT here is we do not have a natural quarterback pairing with our stack, so we're going to run unstacked, and I think this makes us weird, unique, and gives us a bring back off JT.
I kind of hate it.
Okay, tell me a name. Tell me a name.
Gino.
Okay.
Better game environment.
Teddy
can run a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy wouldn't have been terrible either because we get the swap equity and then we just set the rankings later. And as long as we have Gino over Burrow, we could have had the same thing. Teddy might have been sharp, but
but what happens if Teddy and Tua come back at the same week and then Tua starts? Teddy's not inactive. And
then we have the 0 in the same
way. If they don't start, they swap for you, remember?
I don't know that it works like that
it does
with quarterback. That's like starting pitcher worked that way. I don't know if quarterback works that way.
I would think, if starting pitcher worked that way, it makes no sense quarterback wouldn't work that way, right?
I don't know. I would want to get clarification.
Yeah, likewise.
And if anyone's wondering what we're talking about with starting pitcher, there was times where in the baseball dailies there would be a starting pitcher that had a projection or was being drafted basically before the other one, like the actual starting pitcher, and then people would draft him. Are you going to show it? Is that what you're? But but then people would draft this pitcher that wasn't actually starting, and then they would get like that starting pitcher swap. So I'm down for it. But they would if they would get that starting pitcher swap, the actual starting pitcher would swap for him. So what we're thinking that is like if you draft Teddy Bridgewater and he's active, but he's not playing, does he still swap? That's a great thing that we might have to look up there.
Yeah.
That's a scenario that might happen. So.
Okay, so this is the chart you were referring to here.
Yes,
wow, that's crazy
with
to
the depth
see.
of targets, yeah.
It's crazy to see Kirk Cousins with like damn near 200 total attempts, but only 7% of them being 15 plus yards.
Yeah, that's been his game. Him and
Yeah.
I don't know if Carr is actually higher up here than I would have expected, because that used to be like his game too, was just like the short, easy passes, and that's what gave him like a really high completion percentage over expected, was because he just kept like nailing those short throws. But yeah, I just
That's
thought that
kind of Kirk's
Gina's
MO.
Carr might have broke his own model last night with just those two passes. To
Devontae.
Yeah,
that
number could have
insane.
been that number could have been 13%. Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Numi was he was telling us before there I wasn't sweating, but he was in first, and all he had to fade was the Devontae Adams bomb, and
at least he had a pick that cashed.
I had all of the outs covered, and then I just sit there and as I'm typing to Nez, all I just do not need is I can get a Devontae Adams touchdown. That's just fine. I can get anything here, just cannot be a long one. And then as I typed it, and then they don't get the 2-point conversion, so then I don't get anything coming back, and it's just like,
hashtag never sweat, boys. Go to the gym instead. Go to the gym.
Go to the sauna, sweat there.
Go to the sauna, drink beers with your friends, do anything but watch the leaderboards. You'll drive yourself fucking crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be honest. I wasn't even watching them until like 6 minutes left, and then all of a sudden, I look on my account and it says 4.5 in that contest. I was like, "Excuse me." And I look and it was literally.
It's one of those things you wish you never saw it, right?
Like, it was full Chiefs onslaught.
Would have been none the wiser.
Just onslaughted the heck out of them, and it worked.
Well, the showdown slate is just such a cruel bitch, right? Like the kneel down on that last play. Did they do multiple kneels downs or one kneel down? But Cody Main threw out a tweet where the kneel down went from a 25 or 28 way dupe of $44K to $900. So that's the second showdown slate in a row where it's been over a 40K swing for the last play of the game. There was the one two Monday nights ago with the defensive score on the last play. Yeah, showdown is they just embrace that variance and never watch. Like, just close your eyes.
Yeah.
We rolled the 106 again, which is, for my money, my favorite draft slot this week. Are you guys enjoying back of the board, front of the board? Does it matter to you?
Simply for
I
my
much
guys.
prefer back.
Yeah, where my guy's at, it allows me to get him plus another stud. So
I like getting Cup, but it's so nice to just like get two of these elite guys, because at the 101 you are now drafting like past the tier. You know what I'm saying? Because for me the top 8 is just so like I said at the top, for me just like very much set in stone. But maybe this time we can try to push back wide receiver. We'll see how the board falls, but I like so like just speaking
don't
of
say
this,
it. Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. No, I'm kidding. Go for it.
Just looking at that Buffalo KC game, obviously like everybody's in play essentially, but for me especially with the coming off the injury, probably not going to be drafted a lot. Isaiah McKenzie, I think it makes a ton of sense to get unique here.
Okay, what do you guys like here? Numi likes Jefferson, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I kind of like?
Tell me.
I kind of like this off of like we get access to the 2 game environments and and like the stacks that everybody else will have, but we get them without the quarterbacks in like some super weird fashion that people will be hesitant to click on. That's my thought process right there, is we just got this weird ass unique combo because everyone who has Mahomes is thinking Kelsey or Diggs with the bring back. Anyone who has Lamar is thinking Andrews, and nobody's going to just go like, hey, let's go Diggs Andrews to start.
Yeah, I really like that combo. I know if Numi could have 110% Jefferson, he would, but I don't
for
think
his account.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that line.
What did we just give him Cup and Jefferson?
Maybe. I don't know. I have a Cup Jefferson, so I don't really care. But yeah, we gave up a Cup Jefferson.
I mean, dude, this is an unbelievable. This is like one of the most stacked slates we've ever
It
played
is.
on. Like
I
this
think
is
so too.
like this could be kind of nutty. This just the top score this week could
It's stacked
reach,
because
like,
we
180.
actually have 2 games over a 50-point total. That's the only reason.
It is what it is. It is what it is, baby.
There's no difference in the players.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on now. You don't mean that. There's
Take it
Week
back.
1? What's the difference
Take
between
it
week 1
back.
and week 2?
well, okay. I'll give you that. But week 1, we had no idea like what was going on with any of these teams
That's-
yet.
I don't know. I agree. Yeah.
That's why week 1 is always the most profitable week of the year, gentlemen. You remember that.
For some.
Yeah. Nobody knows shit.
So
You
now
still
I said we wanted to push back wide up, but we go ahead and snag one here. There's just a lot of really like awesome late depth, but again, like QB is going to be like a very concentrated ownership where you're not going to see too many more than like
What if we
5 or 6 guys.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I do feel that way about QB this week too. The ownership on QB is consolidated around the top 3 guys and then elsewhere. Actually, I got a really fun nugget. Chris Baseball on Twitter hit me up and he did a full Justin Herzig with the ADPs, but he went all the way along, but he did it in a baseball spectrum, but like just some applicable knowledge that he may or may not come and talk about tomorrow.
So now I'm thinking like to get different here. I want a Cardinal stack.
Yeah,
I literally let's go Hollywood and Murray. That's my thing. Yeah. And then
I like that. And
like,
then
that's
you can
a
kind
very
of
fun pairing.
Then
with
there's
these
3 spots we can get back with this. There's 3 different run backs we can do.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right.
Stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get
start.
any Seattle piece there on the way back. And then like the Giant side, you don't need a run back. It's interesting to get unique with Diggs to start pairing with like those one-off KC wide receivers, but it's just so fucking hard to just be like, which one are we going to get? Right. Like, who's it going to be? Who knows? Right.
Yeah.
35. Okay. So he's not that steamed.
Yeah. What do you think? Silas brought up the fact, running naked Zach Wilson on that last build we did. I don't know. Just throwing out thoughts there.
I don't know what to think about the Packers at all. I have no idea what to think about the Packers.
Frauds.
I do think I want Breece Hall no matter what on this on a lot of my teams, just because of what we talked about with the way he's being used, no matter what the game script is, and the way that the Packers like didn't really fare well. I know it's Saquon, but they couldn't. I mean, how do you not stop the Giants? Man, Dayball is just a freaking genius right now. When is it when do the Giants ever stop being competitive in games? Like I don't think they're going to win every single game, but are they going to like completely regress and start to get killed like we would expect without like all of these on? They're just such an interesting team that I don't really quite know.
The well-coached team.
Yeah,
they're really well-coached. Like that's what. I mean, just the guys, like, I don't know, like they just don't seem to make the dumb mistakes that you see from the Raiders who go on their first play is like a holding, their second play. Like they just make these, they're like having like an off or what was it? Like a roughing the passer. It wasn't obviously not the Chris Jones one, but they just seem sound, if that makes any sense. They're just not putting themselves in dumb spots.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And having watched that entire Giants-Packers game and loving every second of it, yeah, it was fantastic.
We love the Packers' demise.
Oh, yes, we do.
The one thing that's interesting about the Packers in general is like, outside of Aaron Jones, not many, like basically none of them are going drafted this week. I do not hate just being like, okay, Packers back in Lambeau. Let's just run naked Rodgers and like just be like he's taking this shit personally, and he just comes out for that 303 game, and we're the only people that have overexposure to Rodgers, and it doesn't matter where the pass catches go because nobody's one's getting drafted.
Yeah, needs them to catch it though. They're off. Like the guys aren't separating. The guys aren't catching it sometimes. Like he doesn't have a trust. His highest trust guy is Dusty Randall Cobb.
Interesting that DMC's still on Taysom too. Like, obviously a really good player who's won in the past. And, I mean, obviously you can never read too much into one lineup because guys are drafting 150 of them and that sort of thing. But just interesting note to see him go like, a Mixon plus Hill mini there. And then I imagine he goes Cousins at quarterback in that build.
Walker for sure.
Yeah, I think we do Walker as like the run back there. I don't love it, but I think it's fine if we just do a one running back build here. And
we're at the 5-6 turn, and like all these players available to us are crazy. And like Jeff Wilson in Atlanta, like that matchup is so juicy, and you can keep scrolling down. And,
we got
Okay.
My next running back would be Ramondre, and I would pick Jalen Waddle if we're gonna do a wide out.
Okay, who was the other name that you just brought up, Nez?
I Jeff Wilson I liked. Now we're starting to see like a dissipation of like some of the studs. But I liked Isaiah McKenzie, but I don't want to get a double Buffalo.
Okay, so who do we like here? Do we like Ramondre 2 running back build, or
I think
like
Ramondre,
Waddle?
man. I think
I really think Ramondre is gonna. I mean, he's gonna get all the work.
Okay.
And even if Ty Montgomery does come back, or Pierre Strong eats into it, or I know that game script, but I mean that Cleveland rushing defense is atrocious. Like they're just atrocious. So
yeah, no, this is what we've been waiting for, right? We've been waiting for some clarity in the Patriots backfield, and
that's some clarity, and we got a big enough sample where we can kind of be like, yeah, this Browns defense is actually bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's nice to have clarity, and it's nice to have that combination of things, right?
I guess it does matter. Maybe we have to understand: did Myles Garrett play last week? Is he coming back? How much does that matter? He's been out,
right? Yeah, him and
Clowney.
Clowney, yeah.
But I don't know Clowney so much in the run. I mean, maybe I'm not. I'm just thinking, pass rushing. But like those are some key cogs in their defense that could.
That definitely makes a difference. That's a good point to bring up. I'm honestly I'm not plugged in on Garrett's health situation, but that is definitely something that to keep in mind, that if he does return, that we should probably temper some of these expectations for Ramondre. But Ramondre just looks like the dude. And we know obviously with the usage that's going to be there this week. So I really like how we drafted this team. I really do.
Yeah, I would much prefer it if it wasn't Walker as the run back and we had ended up with one of the 2 wideouts.
I think it's fine. I really do.
I think it's fine for sure.
I mean, he can still, like, the Cardinals go in every script have gone down like 14-0. And so if Walker gets one of the touchdowns, he can hit one. We saw him do it. Like, he's a home run talent. Like, that Cardinals defense isn't that scary. So yeah, I think even regardless if Geno's going to cook and all that, I still think he's going to get his touches and then eat into a little bit of then what would have been Penny. And then whoever DJ Dallas is kind of going to come in, but like, that's my thing. I think it as much as like I agree with you, I'd much rather I don't know. I don't have it that big of a teardrop. I think I'd be fine with any one of the 3. I would pick the wideouts over him if I had the choice. Yeah. But it's not like a big like, oh, okay, now I don't know if I'll do Walker in the bring back. But that's just my thoughts on that.
I think what we're really seeing this week is late quarterback ownership is largely going to situate around Geno. And though Geno's ADP may be like 33 or 34 or something like that, we're getting a situation where he's going to be 100% owned.
Geno?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
No, I've just been seeing it so frequently where anyone who gets Lockett or anyone who gets Metcalf who doesn't have a quarterback, the default is Geno with the last quarterback pick of the draft.
I think he'll be popular, but 1, 2, 3. So like obviously the top 4 with Allen, Jackson, Mahomes, Murray, Brady's for sure getting drafted. Geno will get mixed in there. It is pretty gross behind him. He will be high. Yeah, I take that back. I don't know that it'll be 100, but I do. You're right. I bet he's probably like in like the 80s, the 80 to 90s.
I think the reasoning for that, and the reasoning, I'll talk to the ownership of that first. I think the reasoning for that is I think people are less. It's such an easy stack to build, and people are apprehensive to click on the other names around him right now, unless they're stacking.
Yep.
Whereas like we did it last draft, like panic on the clock, 30 seconds, Geno. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a very natural click for almost everybody at this point in time.
Yeah, he just had an awesome game last week. He's got a high point total. Like you're right. I retract my statement there because I don't think other people. I think people are thinking like me as far as not wanting Joe Burrow. I think he's looked really the offense for the Bengals hasn't looked good. I think people also do have just like a back of their mind fear of the Saints, such as myself. Whether for better or worse. So yeah, I think you're right. He will be high owned, but I still don't hate it. I still
that's fair.
But there's leverage. But there's certainly leverage, and I think it can come from this news from Miami. If we get some positive news from Tua or Teddy, and we get clarity, that to me I think is a really strong leverage point.
I think I really like that call. One other thing that I wanted to point out about that game is I think naked Kyler might be a very nice play too, and not having to pinpoint the pass catcher. I know the Marquise rapport is there, and Marquise is, 10 targets ever since he basically had that line where he's like, yeah, we can't have another game where Marquise doesn't see at least 10 targets or something. And he's seen 10 targets every single game since. But I think it's also been like, every draft, or not every draft, but every draft that I've kind of been like watching, right, in quotations, is Kyler plus Marquise or Kyler plus Ertz, and then a one-piece Seattle bringback. I think it's just kind of been the default late play so far. I don't know. It's just one thing. I'm just trying to pick out trends in draft boards. And granted, we only see our own drafts, we only see our own boards, and it's only 15 drafts and whatever. I'm just trying to pick out like, trends and think through the process of like, how can we get different from that, right?
Yeah, I do think you're going to want to like if you're betting on a quarterback going off, I think it would benefit you to have some correlation there, though, obviously. And I think that Hollywood's going to be steamed, but Ertz to me I think is also a good play. And if you want to take a bet on Rondale more, finally, like paying off this week, you can do that too. But hopefully this is the week, or if we play him a lot, that this is when Kyler starts to run, because he just has not running a lot. It's just like it's a bummer. I want to see him run more.
Well, the thesis on Kyler was always the same as like Hurts, right? It's like we're getting that safe rushing floor, but he's not as good a passer, in quotations, as those top 3 quarterbacks. So it was kind of like, hey, this is the next tier. It's Hurts and Kyler, and they both have the safe rushing floor. But if they do put it all together this year, they could be QB1, right? And I don't think that narrative has changed yet. It's just, man, why is he not running? Like, is he not right? Is he? Yeah, I don't know.
Push will likely come to shove, I think, there. I just don't think he likes to run and get hit very much. I think that kind of boils down to it. He's very much as he should be.
He's a baseball player, man. He's a baseball player. I mean, he just wants to play center field. Yeah, he wants to play center field. He wants to knock a couple in. He wants to steal a couple bases. That's all he's about, right?
Oh man.
I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on this. As like an elite talent like T. Higgins going undrafted. We spoke to where we think the depth of these drafts are, and we think it is at the wide receiver position. So my eyes have been gravitating to Taylor instead of Higgins as a late swap option. I probably wouldn't want them both in the same lineup. But where do you guys come out on Higgins this week?
I need to see some positive reports out of practice. To me, it kind of looks like early on, like just reading some tea leaves of the last game and just the way that the Bengals have been, like I'm not expecting T. Higgins to play right now until we get like better news. But to me, it seems like the fact that they didn't play him a lot last game, I think they may just be like, you know what, like this is like a pseudo bye week for UT. Like, let's just like give you a rest. I don't think that I think that it's 1A, 1B, and I still think Chase is 1A. I think when you have somebody like Jamar Chase, when you have somebody like Jamar Chase that's being covered, so like he is the focal point for defenses, right? It's like he's generational. T. Higgins is, and I don't want to say amazing. He's super good though. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah.
It's just like an embarrassment of riches for them. But right now they're being bottled up a little bit. Just
Yeah,
as
you
as
don't
an
you don't have to
offensive
discount T Higgins. He may be that dude just as well as Chase. Like it might
Yeah,
just
I
be
don't-
1-1.
Yeah,
Then there's nothing. Like
I just don't want to
T.
take away
Higgins
from
is
what
that
Chase
dude.
does for T. Higgins, which like is undoubtedly like a lot
for sure,
fair.
but T. Higgins is I'm just T. Higgins is that dude.
right.
Yeah.
Just like in terms of what he but I totally get what Jamar Chase is doing for you. Yeah, on the T. Higgins stuff, I think like with I think it's a great last round pick. Because with the swap options like we see, just pay attention to your draft. We're just talking about how deep these wide receivers can go.
Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin didn't get drafted here.
Jalen Waddle didn't get drafted here. You have all of these swaps.
That is
I think
insane.
it's a great. I think it just attests to what we've been preaching with these. You lean into the variance and basically and everything that's going to go on here because
I'm calling it here. It's 2 wide receiver week, 3 wide receiver week. It's 1 running back week. 1 running back, 3 wide.
I'm hearing
receiver
so many
week.
different words and numbers. I don't know which one
really?
it actually is. Yeah, what is it really? Is it 2 quarterbacks?
That's what it is.
So it's 3 wide receiver. You're saying, yeah, I think for sure. Yeah. And I think with that last pick, I mean, if you don't get T. Higgins, you're getting Jalen Waddle, you're getting Chris Godwin, you're getting. I'm just trying to go down here. I mean, did Amari Cooper go? I mean, it's not a great play, but you're still getting Amari Cooper. You're still getting these Adam Thielen, the McKenzie. You can swap to whatever guys that you want. So I think it's just a great play. I mean, even Chris Olave, if he does play in the concussion protocol. So
give me the stacked tight end with pass catcher at the front of the board. I don't care which, Lamar Andrews or Mahomes Kelsey. Give me that. Then give me one of those middle tier alpha running backs on the way back of probably CMC, Kamara, or Cook, something like that. And then give me 3 straight depth wideouts.
I think
that's
too.
My ideal build right now.
Maybe I'm just crazy, but so I'm talking about like when I'm looking at the leaderboard at the end of the slate, and it's like a lot of people could have kind of that lineup that you just pointed out with getting that, and maybe instead of going that running back there, you just jump the shark and you literally go Jonathan Taylor. You literally go Ramondre Stevenson. You literally go one of the back end guys because you're getting a unique combinatorial ownership for you, buddy. Like you're getting that, and you're getting you can go put Breece Hall in there, put the Joe Mixon in there, even put Aaron Jones in there. Like we're talking about that,
right?
Put one of those guys in replace over Christian or Dalvin or Fournette because that's what everyone's going to click in those spots most likely. And that could be a fun way to do it. And plus, you're still getting guys that we're very high on, while then also playing to your wide receiver take.
Love it.
I think that's just a fun way to do it.
Yeah, I kind of like that a lot right now, just as like a macro approach to what we're seeing so far. Let's go. Michael's got a question here or a thought or whatever that I think is pretty cool just to throw out. We'll do position by position tomorrow. We may or may not have a special guest. I'm not sure yet. We'll play that by ear, but we'll do position by position tomorrow and mix in a couple more drafts and maybe talk about that Thursday night, Monday slate. Maybe something like that. But just to address this so far, that like we're seeing those top 2 tight ends be drafted 100% of the time in the first 2 rounds. You're going to have your exposure to that. So why not get super unique and kind of go off the board, because like we're not seeing a huge disparity at the rest of tight end. I tend to kind of agree. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Like I'm kind of just fade Taysom right now, just based on where I've seen him go. I think I'll mix maybe a little bit of it in as the week goes on. But if we get Winston back,
I was just thinking
we get Michael Thomas back, we get Olave clearing.
Things can only get worse for Taysom, dude. Things can only get worse.
Yeah,
and
like, that was the games of all games. Like everything went right. Like he was mixing in with Andy Dalton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at
the
home,
thesis.
I mean, it's just everything went perfect for Taysom. And
the thesis of the Taysom play is all those guys were out and or injured, and it was like, hey, this is our unique weapon to try and win this ball game versus a really bad defense.
Right.
That does not necessarily exist this week. And I think to the tight end position for me, it's the upper echelon, hopefully stacked, if not unstacked in some unique form of combination. And then we can kind of pluck any name from down here. Like you spoke to, Knox is interesting. We have Kyle Pitts going undrafted, like sitting way down here. Henry, I don't love it, but Hunter Henry was a good DFS play last week, in my opinion, just because you got the, what I wanted to say Delaney Walker,
Well,
the other Titans tight end that then went to New England. Yeah. Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
I wanted to say
they're paying a lot of money for those two tight ends. It's funny.
Right. But as soon as he was out, it kind of just cleared a path to, you know. So anyway,
I like Kittle too. I mean, I like Kittle. I like the Higbee. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, basically it's like these two tight end. So you can basically play it. If you don't get them, then it's just a fun, you're going to leverage them in a way, but I don't know. Are you guys going to be attacking the tight end? Is that you're going to be your thing? Are you going to go in trying to get one of these two guys over and over and over, and that's how you're attacking the slate? Or are we going to kind of go into it maybe like because that's normally how we attack it, right? This is how we've been going into every slate. Like, I want Kelsey and Andrews. Like, I want Kelsey and Andrews. They're a cheat code in the tight end position. So
I've done 4 drafts and I've taken Kelsey or Andrews in 3 of them, and my other one was Ertz. So just like another chalk guy. For now, I'm gonna gravitate to that, and then as I get later in the week, I'll probably mix it up a little bit more.
I think that's gonna be my approach too. So I like that.
But just to Michael's point, there is like I kind of feel the same, where I'm gonna end up with like 30-something% of both those two tight ends, and just hope I have the perfect combination of them. But then outside of those two, I think I'm gonna be very spread. I'm not going to consolidate around any of these late guys, and I don't think I'm going to routinely eat the Zach Ertz kind of like chalk as being like that third or fourth tight end. I'll definitely sprinkle him in because we love that game environment. But like, I think this is a week where I'll get weird. Like last week, I was mixing in like Quentin Morris in like the 12-mans and stuff like that, just as like my Allen.
Yeah.
And like
I took a Tommy Sweeney like an idiot, and I didn't realize that Morris was the guy I was actually looking for.
Morris fumbled at the goal line too. He would have got in, right? Like it just,
So I know it's a Viking, but I mean, Irv Smith
I was just about to say that.
Way down there. I mean, Conklin's been our darling, you know what I mean? He had 0, but like
Evan Ingram's been balling out, had 10 targets last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I love it all. Like, I mean, depending on Kate Otten got plenty of so depending on Brait, like I love that. To Michael's point, I think that's perfect. If you're not going to get those, there's no reason to consolidate in the next, just spread that out. And just give your shots the outs. That's a perfect way to put it. So.
Yeah, I think Chad brings up a good point where he's like, I think the odds of both busting is slim to none. And like, I fully agree with that. And I think that's why we consolidate around those two guys at the top over, and that coupled with how deep wide receiver we think wide receiver is, that at the top of these draft boards, I am going to be targeting tight end. But then after that, just let me throw darts this week.
Yeah.
I think it is a very split position. And I kind of feel almost the same about quarterback. But hey, we'll do position by position tomorrow. This has been a much longer show than usual. Boys had lots to say today. It's a really fun slate. And I think the fact that we ran so long today just illustrates that, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything to add, gentlemen?
I don't. This is a fun one. I enjoyed chopping up with you guys for a couple hours. Thanks for everybody for sticking it out with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining our drafts there. Appreciate Numi's new setup.
Yeah, man. Looking sharp.
Yeah, looking
super sharp.
Sounding sharp. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Appreciate the good people at Underdog giving us this nice swag. Everybody's got some nice swag on. Love to see it. Yeah. Mine's stuck at customs.
Yeah, they had to open it up, make sure what is going on here?
Right.
Under who?
Yeah, what are they sending this man?
Subscribe, follow the boys on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, and we're gonna have some special guests this week. For sure, Chris is gonna come on at some point and talk us through that new ADP strat stuff. That'll be a lot of fun. A couple irons in the fire for a couple other people, and the walkthrough on Friday, guaranteed, locked 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And perhaps the head of winning. If anyone knows who the head of winning at Underdog is, I'm not sure, but
Headbands
kind of a
unite,
big
baby.
deal. Kind of a big deal. All right, big day. More playoff baseball today. Good luck in your guys' drafts. Good luck in life. Be well. Go to the gym. Stay fit. Have fun. Be healthy. Some bullshit like that. And
Be
yeah.
good. Have fun. Do good.
Go M's.
Adios.
Everybody's
my
favorite time
favorite
of the
part.
show. The end.